Listen up because this info could save your life. You think you're ready for the basics, maybe a few cans, a flashlight, a winter coat. But let me ask you this. What happens when the stores shut down for a full month? Not a blip, not a test run. 30 days of no deliveries, no aisles restocked, no digital add to cart solutions. Suddenly, your pantry becomes your world. And here's the reckoning moment. In that blackout, comfort becomes survival. Hunger starts slow, tiny pangs in the stomach. Then it turns real, urgent, primal. That's when panic jumps in. That's when everyone scrambles for answers. But not the people who prep smart, because FEMA, the folks who prepare cities for disasters, already has a playbook for that exact crisis. They don't talk fluff. They talk about real readiness for 30-day survival without a store in sight. In this video, I'm breaking down 10 of their most critical, battle-tested recommendations. These are not theory. They're survival tools. Tools that could be the difference between helplessness and holding on. So stay right where you are if you want something more than grocery advice. If you want to be anchored when everything else floats away. Because when the grid fails, the road is blocked, and your screen dims, knowledge won't just clue you in, it'll carry you through. Number 1. Hydration backbone. Imagine the silence when the map disappears, and there's no screen telling you where to go. That's when your body's own needs become the clock you can't ignore, starting with water. No grocery deliveries, no deliveries at all. You're hunting, cooking, surviving, and without one simple ingredient, everything collapses. Hydration. Listen, drinking water is more than wetness. It's the heartbeat of survival. If you're just 20% dehydrated, your body slows, your thinking clouds, your strength fades, and that's daylight conditions. In cold or crisis, the margins vanish faster. Your survival alphabet always begins with H for hydration. So here's how the backbone of surviving 30 days without stores really starts. First, you collect gallons stored water in sturdy, food-safe containers. Not just those half-empty jugs that cost extra at the store, but real, robust water vessels, with a rotation strategy so nothing stagnates. Next, purification skills aren't optional, they're mandatory. You use every tool in the shed, tablets, sunlight, heat from that multi-fuel stove we talked about, or a manually operated filter. Because when your stored supply ends, nasty water doesn't just taste awful, it can kill. And here's the true survival twist. You ration with discipline. 1 gallon per person per day covers drinking, minimal cooking, and basic hygiene. That's not comfort, that's life insurance. Every sip becomes a decision made for tomorrow, not just today. But here's the invisible danger you won't feel until it's almost too late. Thirst doesn't hit you all at once. It sneaks under your focus. You're thinking you can wait 1 more hour, but hourly, that delay erodes your control, your clarity, and your ability to act. Granted, the grid might fail, trucks might stop, shelves might vanish, but if your hydration backbone stands strong, you can walk, reason, and persevere. So don't just store a few spare bottles. Build your hydration backbone. Learn purification. Plan per person, per day. Because when the world outside is quiet, the water inside you is survival. Number 2, manual kitchen kit. The lights go out, the microwave clicks off, the blender dies mid-spin, and just like that, your modern kitchen becomes a museum of useless gadgets. That's when you realize your survival doesn't depend on electricity, it depends on your hands and what you've got stashed in your drawers. Enter the manual kitchen kit. Not fancy, not digital, but absolutely essential when the grid is gone and the stores are silent. It starts with the basics. A manual can opener. You'd be shocked how many people stock up on canned food and forget they need a way to open it when the power's out. No batteries, no buttons, just twist and eat. Next up, hand-powered grinders. For coffee? Sure. But also for grains, spices, or dried herbs that keep your food flavorful when options are thin. These grinders aren't just old school, they're smart, compact, and never fail during a blackout. Then comes the mechanical egg beater or whisk, because you're not baking with a stand mixer when there's no power. Whipping eggs, mixing pancake batter, or stirring sauces, you'll need tools that rely on motion, not motors. Manual grater, peeler, and slicer, because when prep time is survival time, these tools turn raw supplies into ready meals. Even chopping becomes strategic. No extra effort, no wasted energy. But the heart of the kit? A sturdy cutting board and a well-sharpened knife. Not the decorative kind, the kind that's been honed, maintained, and can take down everything from vegetables to wild game if needed. And here's the thing most people forget. When systems collapse, even cooking becomes a chore of endurance. you're not just making meals. You're preserving energy, avoiding waste, and staying sane through small routines that matter more than ever. This isn't just a list of tools, it's a bridge from modern dependency to hands-on resilience. So ask yourself now, could you cook tomorrow with zero power? Could you make meals when every plug is dead? If not, it's time to build your manual kitchen kit. Because in the quiet after collapse, the hum of electricity is gone, but your hunger isn't. Number 3. Heat, light, and signal triad. When systems break down, survival isn't about luxury. It's about the basics, the non-negotiables, and nothing is more critical in a 30-day crisis than mastering the heat, light, and signal triad. Miss one and your odds drop. Nail all three, and you just bought yourself serious time. Heat comes first, because when the cold sets in, it doesn't ask if you're ready. Whether it's a propane heater, a pile of wool blankets, or an emergency Mylar sleeping bag, you need a way to stop your body temperature from falling. In freezing temps, your core can drop dangerously low in just hours, and you won't even feel it happening until it's too late. But heat alone isn't enough. Light is survival's second lifeline. When night falls and the grid's dark, you need visibility not just to move, but to stay safe. LED headlamps, hand-crank flashlights, solar lanterns charged during the day. These tools don't just help you see, they help keep your mind steady when fear wants to take over. And the moment you lose sight in an unfamiliar, darkened space, that's when accidents happen. And finally, signal. You can have heat and light, but if you can't communicate or be found, you're still alone. Whether it's a whistle to alert rescuers, a compact signal mirror, or a radio with weatherband access, having a way to reach out or tune in changes everything. It's not just about calling for help. It's about not being cut off, not feeling like the world ended at your front door. These 3: heat, light, and signal, are the backbone of real survival strategy. They keep you warm, oriented, and connected when the world turns silent. So look around your gear. Do you have the full triad? Because when stores are shut, when fuel is gone, and when neighbors are knocking for help, this triad won't just be helpful. It'll be the reason you make it. Number 4. Dry foods that cook with little heat. When the power's gone and the stove is just a hunk of metal, you need food that doesn't demand flame, it needs grace. That's where dry foods that cook with little heat come in. Think oatmeal, couscous, instant noodles, simple, quick, and calorie-dense, ready to sustain you when every flame is precious. Imagine a pot of oats soaking through the long, cold night. Boil it just once, then leave it on a low ember by morning. You have steaming, soft comfort, no refueling, no electricity, just warmth passed through heat, preserved for morning survival. Little grains like couscous, bulgur, or quick-cook rice expand in hot water on their own. You don't need high flames or long shifts of stove time. Instead, you only give them enough warmth to awaken their hunger. That's victory when energy's scarce. Let's talk legumes, split peas, lentils, chickpeas, hard but rewarding. Start them soaking early. In the evening, you heat once, then sit back. They steam themselves soft through the night. By morning, protein-rich soup waits from one brief burst of fuel. Add herbs, chili flakes, or bouillon behind a shield of thick fabric, and you're eating hearty, hot food when the grid is still flicker. The invisible danger? You won't feel hunger immediately. But as your body goes minutes without fuel, strength drains. That fuzzy moment where you say, "I'm fine," that's when danger sneaks in. Having foods that only need a little heat buys you time to think, time to rest, time to survive. Beyond nutrition, they stabilize rhythm. A calm breakfast becomes order when chaos reigns. A cup of warm grains grounds you. Little heat, big impact. When shops lock, power dies, and cold nights stretch longer, these simple staples become your lifeline. So stock them. Know their rhythm. Because comfort isn't microwaved. It's prepared with intention and preserved in real warmth, even when the world loses power. Number 5. Homemade cleaning power. When the world slows and shelves go empty, there's one thing you'll need more than ever: clean. Because when the collapse comes, it won't be the dust you're worried about. It'll be the bacteria on your counter, the grime in your water basin, the filth gathering in corners no one ever notices until it starts making people sick. And that's where homemade cleaning power, real, old-world knowledge steps in. No brands, no fancy bottles, just vinegar, baking soda, citrus peel, salt. Grandma didn't need labels. She needed results, and she made them from scraps others threw away. It starts simple. Equal parts white vinegar and water. That's your base, your disinfectant, your grease cutter, your glass polisher. Add lemon peel or orange zest, now it smells fresh. Natural oils lift grime and add antibacterial strength. This isn't just wiping, this is cleansing. For tough messes, add baking soda. Sprinkle it over a greasy pan, a moldy tile, a dirty sink. Vinegar fizzes it up, breaks it down. No chemicals, no fumes. Just science, ancient and effective. Salt for scrubbing. Citrus for scent. Boiling water to seal it in. And suddenly, your house doesn't just look clean, it feels alive again. The invisible threat? You won't smell bacteria, you won't see mold spores, but you'll feel the sickness they leave behind. In low-power times, when immune systems drop and medicine is scarce, clean becomes your armor. And homemade cleaners? They don't just wipe, they protect. These aren't hacks, they're legacy skills. And when systems fail, they'll outlast every spray bottle you've ever bought. So don't wait to lose power to learn what Grandma already knew, that sometimes the strongest solution comes from the simplest shelf. Because when survival gets real, cleanliness isn't a luxury, it's a defense strategy. Number 6. Hands-on repair caddy. When the world breaks, the smallest things stop working first. A broken drawer, a snapped wire, a leaking pipe, a loose hinge. Nothing huge, nothing deadly. But in a collapse, in a 30-day stretch without stores, without delivery, without a backup plan, those tiny things snowball. The drawer won't open, so you can't get your utensils. The wire shorts, and now you've lost light. The pipe drips, and within hours, your drinking water is contaminated. And that's why smart people, the ones who remember how their grandparents lived, keep a hands-on repair caddy, not a toolbox buried in the garage, not a drawer full of clutter. A dedicated compact kit with just what you need and exactly where you need it. Duct tape, super glue, zip ties, a screwdriver with interchangeable heads, wire cutters, needle and thread, rubber washers, fuses, spare batteries, nails, hooks, sandpaper, small pliers, scissors, heavy-duty scissors, because you won't need to rebuild a house. You'll need to fix what fails, when everything's already on edge. It's not about being a handyman. It's about not letting a stuck window turn into a frozen room, not letting a broken latch become a security risk, not letting a minor leak destroy your food shelf. And the invisible danger? It's the waiting. Waiting for stores to reopen, for help to arrive, for someone else to solve it. But Grandma? She didn't wait. She had the kit. She had the skill. She didn't ask for solutions, she made them. And in a world that's slowly forgetting how to fix anything, that little caddy, that's gold. So the next time something snaps, bends, breaks, or jams, ask yourself, can I fix this? Or will I wait? Because after the collapse, it won't be your tools that fail you. It'll be not having them within reach. Number 7. Insulation and warmth layers. When winter comes and power's out, survival isn't about staying stylish, it's about staying warm. And warmth? It doesn't come from one blanket, or one jacket, or one fire. It comes from layers. Strategic, silent, insulating layers, the kind Grandma used without thinking, because she knew something we've forgotten. Cold doesn't attack all at once. It creeps. It looks for gaps. And the moment it finds one, it takes over. So when you build your warmth plan, think like she did. Think in layers. First, the base. The layer against your skin matters more than you realize. Cotton gets wet, holds sweat, chills your body, but wool traps heat even when damp. It breathes, it protects. Then comes the core layer, insulation, thick flannel, fleece, down if you have it, not tight, not loose, just close enough to hold warm air near the body, without squeezing it away. Finally, the outer shell, windproof, water-resistant. Grandma used canvas, heavy coats, quilts. In modern terms, think tarps, ponchos, blankets clipped at the shoulders. The goal isn't to look good. It's to survive the night. But warmth isn't just personal. She layered her walls, blankets tacked up, rugs hung over doors, even cardboard between the windows and curtains. She layered her beds one under, two over, and even coats tucked in the corners to trap rising heat. She even layered her floor extra rugs, towels, anything to stop heat from escaping through wood or concrete. Because she knew. Heat rises, but cold seeps. And the invisible danger? You won't notice how fast the chill spreads through your spine, your legs, your feet until you're already stiff, slow, and struggling to think straight. That's how it starts. Not with a blizzard, but with a breeze. So build your warmth like Grandma built hers, from the inside out, from the ground up, from layer to layer. Because in a 30-day collapse with no heat and no help coming, layers aren't just comfort, they're strategy. And strategy? That's survival. Number 8. Toolkit for crisis repairs. When systems fail, and they will, it's not just about food or warmth. It's about what breaks next. A loose pipe, a cracked window, a busted hinge on the door you're relying on to keep the cold out or the danger away. And when there's no plumber, no hardware store, no Amazon delivery on the way, who fixes it? You do. That's why every smart home needs a toolkit for crisis repairs. Not the shiny, unused box tucked under the sink, but a real, prepared, field-tested set of tools that can keep your shelter functioning when the world outside stops. Let's start simple. A hammer. Not for building furniture, for sealing plywood over broken windows, pounding stakes, prying stuck cabinets, even creating defensive barriers if it comes to that. Next, a manual screwdriver set, flathead and Phillips. Because everything that breaks has a screw, and batteries don't last forever. Then duct tape. And not the cheap stuff. You want industrial grade. It seals cracks, holds wires, mends tarps, even makes temporary water seals when a pipe bursts at midnight. Add a handsaw, because in a blackout, you're not running power tools. You'll need to cut wood, clear branches, or make firewood with nothing but arm strength. Wrenches. Adjustable, multi-size. Because when your gas line rattles or your water connection leaks, guess what's useless? A YouTube tutorial. Throw in zip ties, a spool of wire, a utility knife, gloves, and a flashlight with spare batteries, or better yet, a crank light. And here's what most people forget: spares. Spare screws. Spare nails, spare washers and nuts. You don't know what you'll need until it's gone, and by then, it's too late. Grandma didn't have a multi-tool. She had a drawer full of just in case, and it saved the day more than once. Because the truth is, collapse isn't just about shortages, it's about things falling apart. And survival? It's not just about waiting it out, it's about fixing what breaks with what you've got. So before the next storm, blackout, or breakdown, ask yourself, if your front door jammed tomorrow, if your heat pipe cracked, if your only water barrel leaked overnight, would you fix it or freeze watching it fail? Better build that kit. Because survival doesn't wait for the right tool, it rewards the one who's ready. Number 9. Morale boost meals. When survival becomes routine, heat fails, stores vanish, the cold creeps in the silent danger. Creeping is not the cold, it's the crushing morale collapse that steals hope before hunger even strikes. That's where Moralia boost meals come in. These aren't elaborate feasts, they aren't gourmet, they're simple, heartwarming, bite-sized victories when everything feels like losing. Picture this: a candlelit cup of creamy hot cocoa, maybe just cocoa powder, powdered milk, a spoon of sugar, no stove, heat water over embers. But that warm chocolate glow spreads in the body, lights your brain, and revives countenance when darkness wants to swallow you. Think of oven-toasted bread dipped in olive oil with dried herbs. Stale toast never tasted so sacred. Just enough warmth, crunch, savory aroma, and suddenly, your shelter smells like safety again. Or instant noodles sprinkled with chopped scallions or a strip of bacon melted in. It's not gourmet. It's the crunch, the scent, the sodium hitting your drained cells, and that moment, when survival tastes familiar. For higher morale, layer in seasonal luxuries from your stash. Spice packets, powdered cheese, a spoon of marmalade, a cube of chocolate. Small flavor bursts remind your brain, this is still your life, you're still human. Because when the system is broken, flavor becomes resistance. Sweet, spicy, warm, that memory you swallow with each bite pushes against blank panic. It counters the thought of rations with comfort. It reminds your body and mind why you're holding on. And the invisible danger? Physical hunger isn't the first betrayer, it's emotional fatigue. You slip quietly between meals until one evening you just can't cook, but Moralia Boast meals are antidotes. They reset the loop. They buy emotional endurance when resources are dwindling. During long outages, shelters that organized shared morale snacks, hot drinks, toast rituals reported fewer cases of desperation, better sleep, calmer nights. So if you prepare for crisis, don't just stash calories. Store simple rituals, comfort foods, little flavors that deliver home, even when home is gone. Because feast or famine, shelter or storm, what saves survival is not just strength. It's the memory of warmth inside you, served one bowl at a time. Number 10, trash management. When the trucks stop running, when the city doesn't pick up your bins, when 30 days pass and your garbage is still piled in the corner, trash becomes more than ugly. It becomes dangerous. And in a collapse, most people won't realize it until it's too late. Trash attracts pests, rats, roaches, stray animals. It breeds bacteria. And when water is scarce, or you're living in one heated room, sickness spreads fast. But Grandma knew better. She didn't call it waste. She called it a resource, or a risk. Here's how she managed it. Step 1. Separation. Food scraps were composted outside if she had space, in a bucket with ash if not. Ash neutralizes smell, absorbs moisture, and slows decay. She didn't wait for rot. She stopped it at the source. Step 2. Burnables. Old paper, food-stained boxes, broken twigs, she dried them near the stove and used them for kindling. Waste became warmth. Even orange peels became fire starters. Step 3. Packaging. Anything sharp, soiled, or bio, risk, wrapped in layers. Old newspapers, cloth scraps tied off, no leaking, no touching. She buried these if needed, but never where she ate, slept, or stored water. Step 4. Reuse. Plastic tubs became scoopers. Old cans became candle molds. Jars turned into storage. She didn't throw away until she'd tried everything else. And the invisible danger? You won't smell the infection until it's in the air. You won't hear the scurry of rodents until they're under your bed. You won't see sickness until someone's already coughing. That's why trash management isn't optional. It's silent sanitation. And Grandma? She didn't need weekly pickup. She needed systems, instincts, and ash. So if your power goes out and the grid stays down, don't wait for the stench. Control the trash, or the trash controls you. You've just seen what most people won't even think about until it's too late. Because survival, real survival, isn't about stockpiling gadgets or hoping for the best. It's about old-school wisdom, systems that don't fail when the power cuts, habits that don't break under pressure, and everyday items that turn into lifelines when the store shelves go empty. These aren't just tips. They're time-tested truths, built from a world that didn't rely on delivery apps or power grids, a world your grandparents lived in, a world that might be closer than we think. So ask yourself this. If the power went out tonight, if the stores stayed closed for 30 days, would you panic or would you prepare? Because the people who prepare, they're not paranoid. They're just ahead of the curve. And if even one skill, trick, or item in this video made you say, I never thought of that, then imagine what you'll learn next. This channel isn't just entertainment. It's quiet preparation for loud times. So before you scroll, before you forget, hit subscribe, because this knowledge doesn't go viral on its own. It spreads through people like you, smart, grounded, and thinking ahead. Your grandmother didn't wait for the collapse to get ready. She was ready long before it came. Now it's your turn.